Welcome to life. You have approximately 1 day to live. You were born without a working mouth, and there is no stomach to put food in even if you found some. You're a mayfly. Your entire species is named after how fast you die. The scientific order is Ephemeroptera, from the Greek ephemeros, meaning lasting only a day. Most animals get a name based on what they look like. You got one based on your funeral schedule. But before we get to that glorious final day, let's back up, because here's the twist nobody mentions. You actually live for months, sometimes up to 2 years. You just spend almost all of it underwater as a nymph, looking nothing like the delicate wing thing in the title. You hatch from an egg at the bottom of a stream or pond as a naiad, a little aquatic creature with gills along your abdomen, clinging to rocks and gravel. This is the real bulk of your existence, and you spend it the way most of us spend our 20s, hiding under a rock, eating algae, and accomplishing nothing visible. As a nymph, you eat constantly, scraping algae and bits of plant matter off the riverbed. Cherish every bite, because it's the last food you will ever consume in your entire life. You molt over and over as you grow, shedding your exoskeleton again and again, sometimes dozens of times. You're stuck in the longest, most boring chapter of a book that ends abruptly on the next page. All the while, you're prey to fish, beetles, and dragonfly larvae, which are essentially underwater murder machines. Your nursery is also a war zone, standard for this channel. Now, let's rewind a few 100 million years, because mayflies are ancient. They are among the oldest groups of winged insects on Earth, with relatives flying around long before the dinosaurs showed up. Your design is so old, it predates the rules, and mayflies hold a record no other insect can match. You are the only insect that has a winged stage and then molts again into another winged stage.
Everyone else molts into wings and they're done. You get a rough draft first. When the time finally comes, you rise to the surface and emerge from the water with wings. But you're not an adult yet. You're a sub-imago, a dull, cloudy-winged teenager version of yourself. Then, within hours, you molt one more time, peeling out of your own skin in midair and become the true adult, the imago, with shiny, clear wings. You go through puberty twice in a single afternoon. No other insect on Earth does this. It's an exclusive club, and the membership fee is dying immediately afterward. And here's the part that defines you. As an adult, you cannot eat. Your mouth parts are vestigial, shrunken and non-functional, basically decorative. Your gut isn't full of food, it's full of air, working like a tiny balloon to help you stay light and buoyant in flight. You are a flying insect whose digestive system was repurposed into a party balloon. You won't eat because you don't need to. There simply isn't enough time left to digest anything. Your whole adult body is a one-use tool with exactly one job. And you don't emerge alone. Mayflies hatch in massive synchronized events, sometimes millions emerging at once over a few hours. These hatches can be so enormous they show up on weather radar and pile up like drifts of snow on bridges and roads. In some river towns, plows have to clear the streets of dead mayflies. You will be born, live, and die in such overwhelming numbers that humans need machinery to scrape your relatives off the pavement. It's a humbling way to learn you were never that special. But the swarm is also a strategy, and it's the entire reason you exist. By all emerging at the same moment, you flood every predator at once. Fish, frogs, birds, and bats gorge themselves silly, and yet there are simply too many of you to eat. You survive by being one anonymous face in an unkillable crowd. Your life insurance policy is that there are too many of you to murder efficiently. Anglers know this so well that an entire style of fishing, the dry fly, exists to imitate you floating helplessly on the water. So now, with maybe a few hours of life remaining, it's time for the only thing you were built to do. The males gather into a swarm above the water, bobbing up and down in a synchronized aerial dance. The females fly in, and mating happens in mid-air. Let's keep it PG and just say it's a quick affair, which is fitting because everything in your life is quick. There's no dinner first. There can't be. Nobody has a mouth. It's the only dating scene where ghosting is mandatory and immediate. Once mated, the female drops to the surface and lays her eggs, releasing them onto the water, where they'll sink and start the cycle all over again. And then, often within hours, it's over. She dies. He dies. Everybody dies. The water in the riverbank fill with the spent bodies of millions of mayflies who completed their one and only task. You'll be eaten by a fish or a bird, or you'll simply drift, used up, your air-filled balloon of a gut finally going still. You lasted a day. That was always the plan. So let's recap your resume. You spent up to 2 years as a nervous underwater algae scraper. You came up for air, grew wings, molted into yourself twice, refused to eat because you literally couldn't, found a partner in a frantic cloud of millions, and then died before the sun came up. You never once had a meal as an adult. You never needed one. Now, fold your wings, settle onto the water, and let the current carry you off. You did everything you were born to do, and you did it before lunch. One real note to leave you with. Mayflies are among the most sensitive insects to pollution on the planet, which makes them a living water quality test. When the mayflies vanish from a river, it usually means the water has gone bad, and many species are declining as streams get warmer and dirtier.
A creature that lives a single day turns out to be one of nature's most reliable warning signs. You exist for hours, and somehow you outlast the rivers that don't take care of you. Have a good night.